Hey again, Misfits, this is Anthony with another 1-minute review, and this time we're reviewing Fort by Leader Games. Probably one of my top publishers, actually. They're up there with Portal and those guys. They just do very unique games that are kind of their own brand. They do an excellent job with these games, and I wanted to review Fort because it's kind of one of their little lesser known titles. Maybe, perhaps, it has gotten a little bit of talk, but it's kind of got overshadowed, I think, by some other things. So I wanted to kind of shine a light on it because this game is a lot of fun. And we're going to get to that here first. We're going to talk about the theme. Now, the theme of Fort is basically kids at play in a playground and playtime. As odd as that sounds, each player is essentially a kid trying to recruit friends. And to do that, you basically have to, and the thing about this game is it's a deck builder. To do that, you have to go and draw up and play your cards, which are your friends, and they will give you different resources, these resources being toys and pizza. And now the theme for this game is absolutely perfect because you have little components that are toys and pizza and everything else, and it just fits perfectly for the theme. All the art is amazing. They just do this awesome, cute little art, and it just captures that whole childlike quality that you're going for while also being cartoony and kind of goofy. They have very goofy characters, not meant to be realistic, of course. And the theme just fits it perfectly, down to the art, down to the boards, and everything else. It just looks great. Now, as far as components go, we'll get right into that. Leader Games never disappoints in components, and they always go for quality, and that's one of their things. And the board, even for a deck builder, this game is great. They have very laminated cards. You don't have to worry about that. The boards that you use are all really, really thick, and you could maybe see the thickness on these. So they're not slouchy at all. They give a double thickness, of course, too, to have a layer here, so you can, when you put and keep track of your things, put these little trackers in there that they don't slide off. Some other games might do like a flat board and then the trackers go everywhere, but not them. They have your little indents or whatever, your different layered boards, and all the components have little, stamps on them that actually kind of give an older kind of toy quality to them, but they see the little art on them or whatever stamped on there. It looks great. Everything is just perfect. Components are very, very nice for just a deck. You can just a deck builder. Now, as far as complexity goes, this game doesn't have a ton of complexity. It does have a lot of depth, though, to it. And it does, let me rephrase. It has a little complexity to it, but it is not crazy. There's nothing that is going to take you a ton of time to get down. Really, the thing you want to learn about this game is the iconography and what you're really trying to do. And once you have that down, it's really very simple. They even put your turn summaries on your board here. But basically, you discard, you play a card, you buy a card maybe, and then you use your resources to upgrade stuff if you want to at any time, and then you draw back up to 5. Once you kind of have that pattern down, it's really not too bad. So, the complexity is a fairly, I want to say low to, I want to say not even really medium, maybe to medium if you're not used to deck builders. But once you get it down, it's very, very simple. There's a few little things that they do different from other deck builders, we'll say. But it's nothing overly complicated that you can't get the hang of. Now we'll go on to downtime. Downtime for this game is very minimal. Like most deck builders, you're kind of beholden to the other people to take their turns as you go around. Now, for anybody that knows how to play the game, downtimes are very, very minimal. You're basically going to be doing your thing, buying the cards, either buying someone else's cards or whatever, kind of moving your stuff around and moving on. You can kind of plan out your turns at a time a little bit in that regard, especially if there's 3 or 4 players to kind of speed things up. So realistically, as long as somebody's played this game and are decent at playing deck builders and know what's going on, the downtime is extremely, extremely minimal. It doesn't really take a whole lot of time. And the max you can have is really 4 players. So it's very, very minimal. When you're first learning, there's going to be a little bit of time added on for learning. But once you get past that hump, it's very, 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 very solid. It just moves at a good pace. So last is fun. Overall fun of this game. This game is a hell of a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. Even if you played other deck builders, if you haven't played a deck builder, even if you're not sure of the theme, just get this game. It's not a super expensive game, but it is super fun. And like I said before, it is a deck builder. You'll spend all your time kind of using your cards to get resources, but it adds a cool resource mechanic that is in other deck builders, so that you basically be upgrading and doing things so you increase basically your card count and what you can do with your cards and everything else. It has a little bit of the one mechanic I really like in this is the fact that whatever cards you don't use on your turn end up in your yard up here. Now, your yard is basically a buy rack for everybody else, which creates a challenge because you ideally want to use all the cards in your hand, even if those cards don't really help you maybe necessarily out of the gate or in the long run. And sometimes you just can't plain use them. You will never be able almost to use the cards, all in the cards in your hand. What happens is those cards then that you don't use will go into the yard. And other players will be able to buy those cards as if they were in the park, which is where your other buy rack is. And that creates a problem because, and Misfit Amanda can tell you, she beat me this way because she kept buying all the cards I had that would upgrade my fort. So basically to upgrade, you actually have to play cards to be able to upgrade your fort, which gives you points at the end of the game. And I didn't realize as we were playing that she kept buying all the people out of my yard that had the ability to upgrade my fort. So she was upgrading her fort like gangbusters later in the game. I'm realizing I'm not getting my cards. I had all resources, and I couldn't do anything with them. I'm like, I can't upgrade my yard. But, oh, that card looks familiar. Yeah, you've been buying it for me. So it adds a very much interactive mechanic that is often absent from other deck builders because you can really host somebody over depending on what cards come out, just taking their cards from them. It adds a very, very interactive depth to the game that you don't really see in other deck builders. A lot of fun, guys. Fort is just a great, solid deck building game for your collection. For families, they'll love the theme. For longtime gamers, people that get into heavier games, this is just it's just fun all around. I cannot recommend it enough. You guys at Leader Games are awesome, and you're always unique with your games. And again, even with deck builders, you knock it out of the park. You do a great job all around. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed my 1-minute review. Again, this is Fort by Leader Games. Definitely check it out. We'll put a buy thing in the bottom, and don't forget to like, subscribe, of course, and leave some comments. We always appreciate that, guys. Hope you enjoyed another review. Take care, guys, and don't forget to game on. Thank you.